Hey Scorpio, welcome to your weekly pick a card reading. This is your 4th week of January, so we're at the end of this being done, 10 of Swords energy. And this week, that thing that you're being done with is outdated beliefs about yourself. We've moved from surrendering into your full power in order to go through this change, surrendering your belief in scarcity, surrendering people pleasing, and now it's outdated beliefs about yourself. If you want to catch up on where these two cards came from, the links to those videos are below, as well as how you can get a personal reading with me. This week, to break down this energy, we're using Chrysalis Tarot and Flower Spirit. This is stack 1, 2, and 3. They're timestamped below. Please tell me in the comments which one you picked and if it resonated, and ask me any and all questions. I do answer, and I do try to explain things further in the comments. I do love to engage and to talk. And make sure that you subscribe because I post new stuff every week. This is an unfolding story, ongoing. All right, Scorpio, stack 1, 7 of Scrolls, Queen of Stones, which is like the Queen of Pentacles, and this is a California Poppy, and it says, I look for the best in everyone and everything. So the 7 of Scrolls is essentially like the 7 of Swords, and the Queen of Stones is like the Queen of Pentacles. Where we're talking about surrendering outdated beliefs about yourself, and they're talking about you seeing the best in everyone and everything, is that something you're able to do for others? Find the positive and have grace for others, but is that something you don't do for yourself? Is that a way that you've been cutting yourself off at the knees and you have some negative self-talk, and that where you're able to see the best in others, you tend to err on the side of not doing so for yourself and being harder on yourself than you are on others? And this Queen of Pentacles is here because where you're surrendering this outdated belief about yourself, here's an example, an image of who you are and what they're trying to guide you to see about yourself. That was not a Queen of Pentacles move. She wouldn't have knocked those things over. She is capable in the physical world. She is creative in her and able to create abundance. Not necessarily, she can make money in the real world, but she can also make wealth with very little. The Queen of upcycling and making small things stretch in long ways and making new things out of old things, creating a feeling of wealth and richness and stability and groundedness and solidity in this world. And that is, they're wanting you to look at yourself in this way and see how you are capable in all of these tangible ways and to operate in this physical world. And if this is something that you've been denying seeing yourself this way and withholding from yourself, it's time to move past that as you move forward, because this 10 of Swords means donezo. So you're done cutting yourself off at the knees, and that negative self-talk is over for you, Scorpio. All right, stack 2, you have Temperance, the Sun, and this is Dahlia, and it says, I have unconditional compassion for every emotion I feel. So, Scorpio, this is making me think about positivity culture and the way I feel like spiritual teachers and leaders and some guru type people want to push this idea of always raising your vibration, and that if you have any negative feelings, well, then you're gonna call in negative things, or if bad things happen to you, it's because you had a negative thought or a negative feeling, and that somehow you attract what you are. And so if bad things it's really gross and kind of toxic. So this is a reminder that we are whole people with a light and a dark, and that to try to deny or extricate or create an only light side is not possible, and it's unrealistic, and it's going to create disharmony in you can't heal from that if there's this expectation of some kind of perfection, and that the road to enlightenment is acceptance, and it's a middle road, and it's a balance. And the way that if we're taught, or if you've accepted this idea that If a negative thought crosses your mind, that you have to hold it there until you can dissolve it, then you give it power and you hold it in the moment. It's like gripping to it, and because there's judgment and intolerance of it. And if you can accept it and watch it pass like clouds and not try to hold it in order to do something about it, but let it be and let it go, it can pass away from you just as quickly as it came, and it doesn't have to be given that power and that attention to where it'll grow and become a thing that not only is there the negative thoughts to begin with, but then there's the self-judgment you have for having it, and then it becomes this snowball and this spiral. And if you just leave it, just watch it like a squirrel playing in the yard without judgment and detachment, because you don't have this judgment of a thought of being bad or good, it just is, things just kind of balance out. The sun, to me, is a card of enlightenment. And so that's why whenever the sun comes up in a reading, I do talk about how the other cards are trying to help you reach that state. All right, Scorpio stack 3, you have the Chariot, the Hierophant, and this is Pensimon. I allow myself the joy of physical activity. So since we're talking about surrendering outdated beliefs about yourself, there's a sense here of the belief that you have to, since they're talking about physical activity, there is a desire to dance, to do a sport, to learn some physical art form, a martial art perhaps. But that there's the only way to learn this thing is to enter into a larger institution, into a structure. That there has to be a hierarchy, and there has to be this big official thing from which you can learn it. And what are you on right now? You're on YouTube. You can learn anything you want without having to submit to a higher structure and to some kind of hierarchy. So it's telling you here to move forward with whatever it is that gives you joy, and to surrender this outdated belief that you have to belong, that you have to be good enough to get accepted, that you have to fit in with some kind of larger structure, that you can move and learn and do with your body whatever it is you want to do that feels good, and you can learn that in any unconventional way that serves you. It does not have to be through these mainstream channels. You can find the information you want. Just move. Don't keep sitting on the couch because you haven't found the right class or haven't found the right teacher or can't get into that school or whatever it is. Get up, move, do it your way. All right, Scorpio? Talk to you next week. Thanks a lot.